Hello guys and welcome to the video tutorial of the Easy RPG dialogue system template for Unreal Engine 5. So if you've purchased the template, thank you very much for purchasing it. I really hope that this tutorial can be useful, and if you've not purchased the template, I really hope you look at the features we have over here, see how easy the template is to use, and maybe purchase it if you like how it works. Or you could just take a look at the trailer, which is going to be in the description down below. Before we get started, make sure to like the video if you want to support my channel, and without further ado, let us get started with the Easy RPG dialogue system. So I'm going to start this tutorial by creating a brand new project, and it is going to be a third-person template. It does work on all of the templates, I've tested it, but it's just usually third-person games that use this dialogue system. Anyway, you also want to open the Easy RPG dialogue system project, and with your project open, you want to go to the content browser and right-click on the RPG dialogue system folder and click migrate. And what this will do is it will move all of the required assets into your other projects. Now follow me thoroughly because we are going to be changing a few things. So in the asset selection, you just select all of them. You do not really have to change anything. And when you hit OK, just select the folder, which is the content folder of your project. And then you want to hit no when this asks you, because you do already have all of this stuff inside of your other project. So in case you don't, it's not really going to ask you. And if you do, you really do not need all of this stuff because it's just the default from the engine. Anyway, once your stuff is migrated, you want to go to your project and open the Easy RPG dialogue system. And if you open the preview map now and actually try to hit play, it will work, but you will not be able to cycle through the dialogue, and that is because the system currently uses a different player controller than the one that is loaded on the project. So what you're going to do now is you open the third-person character inside of the Easy RPG dialogue systems blueprints folder, and inside of here there should be two inputs that we do not have, which are talk and skip dialogue. So we want to make those inside of our project settings so that they can actually work inside of our game. So go to project settings and hit the input option, and there should be the action mappings. You just hit plus and create a new one called talk. And this one should be the we're going to add two inputs for this. It's the left mouse button, and an extra one should be the E button. I just like doing it that way. I think it's like the standard for PC games. Anyway, add another access mapping, and this one's going to be called skip. This one skips the dialogue and the cutscenes. So you just close it, and then we're going to open the BP character again. And you can see that when you compile, it's just not going to be a problem. Now we have all of these variables that we need to move into our other character so that it can actually use the dialogue system. So we should just open that character as well and recreate them one by one. Or what we can do is actually copy the functions, and these functions, once you create them and copy them, they will there is a way to create the variables very quickly. So copy the name of the first function, which is activate and progress dialogue, and then you want to go back to the templates character and copy everything inside of the function. It might look a little bit different for you since I'm gonna put comments on everything, but it should roughly be the same. So you just copy it and connect it to the first node, and then the errors should start on all of the variables that we do not have. So for each variable with an error, you want to right click on it and create variable, which it's gonna create the variables automatically. So it's the first option when you right click at a certain point in each variable node, and every time you compile, the errors should go away, and in the end there will not be any errors, and you have successfully transferred the first function and a few of the variables that it has. So for the second one, which is skip cutscene, you want to copy the name as well, create a new function, paste the name, go into the in the character that's ready, go into the function, copy everything inside, and just connect the first node to the first node and hit compile. And once you actually, no, we're not going to compile. We're just going to go to the last one. We're going to copy the name, and then we're going to copy these two nodes. It's just these two nodes in this function, and you paste them, and then you just connect the red part of the set in dialog to the input node, and it should create an input automatically and promote the other one to a variable. So now we only have the macro left to make. We're going to copy the name and go back to our third person character, paste it, and also copy everything inside of the macro and paste it here and connect the input to the first node and the is not valid to the output, and it should be transferred perfectly, and there are no variables left to make. So we do have variable categories. It might look a little bit different in your final project, but you can just either make a category for each kind of variable, or you can just put all of them in a category called dialog. That's what I did with this tutorial, but you are definitely free to do it whatever you like. So actually, that's the entire setup of the dialog system. Now you are free to use it with your project, and it actually works with all kinds of character controllers. So now you want to go to your BP third person character inside of the blueprints folder, inside of the RPG dialog system folder, and you want to hit the delete button, believe it or not, because you have already, you want to replace every reference inside of the other blueprints to the project's default character instead of this character. So hit replace references and then choose your character. So now you want to drag in a sign actor, which is a sign that you can actually read. Go to the details panel and activate contains dialog, type the dialog line and the name, and then go to the sign and hit the mouse button. And you can see that it actually does not work, and that is because we actually forgot to add the input mappings for it. So we're not actually going to paste them, we're going to manually create them. So create the first input action, which is doc, and then create the second input action, which is skip. Get the skip function and connect it to pressed, and then get the activate and progress dialog function and connect it to doc. And now if you actually go there and play the game, I think it might actually work. So you can see that it does work and it's looking great. Also, I forgot to adjust the variables. So you go to the dialog category, change the current dialog type speed to be 0.08 and the default dialog speed also 0.08. I actually forgot and made it 0.8. And the faster dialog speed, it should be 0, just straight up 0. And over here, I was actually troubleshooting, but I just went back and fixed it so that the other one is actually 0.08. And you can definitely experiment with those, but do make sure that the current and the default dialog type speed are actually the same value, because one of them is going to be always showing up when you first start your dialog. So go to the RPG dialog system, blueprints, and add in an actor, which is the BP dialog. First, I'm going to show you the BP dialog. You can see that over here, you do have all of these settings that you can add. And this is more for dialogue that's not really related to a character or a sign. So it's basically maybe something that the player can just read that is not a sign. And you can see that I just added the dialogue very quickly, and you can see that it does work, but the second one doesn't have any dialogue. And that is because I created the array for it, but I didn't add any dialogue in it. So here is the index for it, and you can see that it's actually blank. So you can either just just click on this arrow and delete it, or type something in there. Otherwise it's just going to be straight up empty. So this actor works. Now I want to show you how you can add choices. So we do have choices, but first let's add an NPC to make the choices more interesting. So this is Manny, the mannequin, and you want to click on contains dialogue, and we are going to be adding a few lines of dialogue. So the name is Manny. The line, what is he going to say? He's going to say, hello, Quinn. And I'm just going to add my dialogue, and you can add a portrait for the character. You can add voiceover, that will also work. And then we're going to check contains choice, and you can actually reply to him with one of those two choices. You can either say, I'm doing great, or this is like a bad day. And then you can add the responses that he is going to say back to you after you respond to him. And this is going to be his final dialogue. So after you say that to him, his impression of you is forever going to change, and he will forever say this, like these few lines. And you can add as many lines as you want for each choice's response. So each response can be as many lines as you want. Do remember that these choices are always at the end of the dialogue entries array. So the choice that is going to be asked to the player always comes at the last dialogue of the first array of dialogue lines. So you can see that we tried it out, and you can reply to him, and he will forever say, I'm very happy for you, Quinn, because you said that you are having a great day. So that is how you make an NPC in a nutshell, and how easy it is with this system. Go to the widgets folder and open the widget dialog. And over here, you can see a preview of the dialog box and the choices boxes. So select the dialog box and go to the brush and choose the dialog box blue. And you can see that it's more of a dark mode. And also for the name box, select it and go to brush, change name box to name box blue. And for the choices, we are using the dialog box for those. So go to the style, normal, and change it to dialog box blue. And also you might want to do that for the hovered and pressed as well. I didn't do so, but you should definitely do it based on whatever colors you are using for your game. And you can also export the dialog boxes out and create ones based on them. Anyway, select the text and go to the font, change the color to white, and you officially have a dark mode now. So hit play and go to the character or to the sign and speak with them, and you can see that the color actually looks completely different. And it does look more like a modern setting now, more than a fantasy setting. So it all depends on your game. So now that I've shown you NPCs, signs, and random dialogue, we also need to check out how to make cutscenes with this system, because it is also possible to make cutscenes similar to JRPGs, 3D ones. For example, during a cutscene, it shows dialogue, it pauses the cutscene until the dialogue and voice acting is finished, and then it continues the cutscene once that happens. Anyway, if you go now to your example map and you take a look over here, you can see that we have these three dialogue actors that are placed awkwardly and you definitely cannot reach them. And these are the cutscene dialogue actors. One of them is at level start and the other two have is cutscene actually checked. So these actors are the dialogue that you use in your cutscene. So go ahead and create a brand new map and add a third-person character. I'm currently using the template version and not the one that I migrated, but it should work definitely the same. And then you want to go and search for possess in the details panel to make this character actually the player character inside of your game. And then go to the sequence icon above and add a new level sequence. This level sequence, we are gonna make it a little bit small. It's only a preview of the cutscene system, and the cutscene system, it works great, but the main catch of the main thing about this system is more like JRPG gameplay. However, it really does work well with cutscene. So anyway, we have created this camera actor that it's just gonna zoom in to the player character, or this character, Maria. So yeah, we just added that, and I'm not going to show you how to use the sequencer. This isn't a sequencer tutorial, but I'm just doing it real quick. You just go there and make it zoom in to the character. Here's a preview, and now we do have this sequence, but we are not starting it. We do not start it at the level blueprint. We add in a BP dialog actor, and in the details panel of this actor, you go and hit at level start to make the cutscene play at the start of the level, and take the is cutscene and go to the level sequence and choose the sequence that we have just created and saved. And please do make sure you do not have more than one dialogue actor that plays a sequence at level start. Otherwise, it is going to be a mess. So I'm just going to type in some random stuff as the dialogue, and the voice acting and the portrait are optional. Even the name is optional, you know. If you do not write a name, it will remove the name box and it will play it as sort of like a narration. So anyway, if you preview it, you should see that it actually does play your cutscene. However, it doesn't really activate the dialogue, and then it doesn't post the cutscene, and you just never see the dialogue. So you want to go back to your sequencer and you want to select the actor, the dialogue actor, add to the track, add from the level the BP dialogue, go to add a track for it, and this track is going to be an event track. And with the sequencer, seek to where you want your dialogue to display, add an event keyframe, and right click, properties, event, quick bind, and type add dialog widget. It should add this thing. You just close it, compile and save. And now if you press play and wait for it, your dialog should actually show. So here it is. You can see that it's just perfect. So we did add this one, but what if we actually want to add another one for those? Like another set of dialogue that plays after a while in the cutscene. So you just add a new dialogue actor, activate is cutscene, but do not activate at level start, and select the level sequence. And you can just continue the dialogue, type whatever you want, and then give it another try. So we go to the sequencer again. And over here, you want to do the same thing. So add a new track, actor to sequencer, and select the new dialogue actor. And in the dialogue actor, create a new event trigger and add the plus over here, the keyframe, properties, quick bind, and add dialogue widget. And once you type that and add that, it will actually play it same as the one before. So it also opens this blueprint. This is it just adds it to each sequencer whenever you add a dialogue actor. It really shouldn't be a problem though. So now if you actually preview the game, the cutscene I mean, and wait for it, it plays the first one. And then if you wait again, it plays the second one. And after it's finished, it continues the cutscene and then moves you to the game. But now that the game actually started, you cannot really move the character, so you do need to fix one last thing. And you want to select the character and add a new track, because we want to be able to tell the character that we are not in a cutscene anymore. So add a new track, actor to sequencer, and go to the actor that we have just added, event trigger, and add a keyframe at the end of the cutscene. This should be always at the end of the cutscene, unless you want your character or player to move inside of the cutscene. And type set in cutscene, right click properties, and make sure that in dialog is unchecked. So you can see it. It actually works, but we do have this control rig. So you just right click and delete it and you play. It should work same as before, but after the cutscene is finished, you should be able to move your character. So there we go. You can actually move around after your cutscene, which is exactly what we needed. So guys, that was it for the Easy RPG Dialogue Systems tutorial. I really hope I did cover everything and that there are no issues with you and your purchase. Or if there are more issues and things I forgot to cover, make sure to let me know, and I will definitely make a second part of this tutorial, or I will either just make an update if it's something broken on my part. Anyway, if you guys haven't purchased the template yet and you are interested, the link will be in the description. And if you're enjoying the template and this tutorial, do not hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe for more awesome game dev content. So thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Take care, have a great day, and bye.